Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage,
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 65 of A Double and Dice. And today we're going to talk about drafting, because today, and day of this recording, we actually drafted in person.
Together.
We played Dice Masters. I know, me, Jocelyn, Rob, new people, Marcus. Who's back from
Dice
retirement,
Masters,
as he says.
Dice Masters players new and old.
Yep.
With spectators and all sorts of things. And we're just going to put it out there. The Dice Masters event had 6 people, and the HeroClix event had 3.
Yep. Look at that. We're invading. We're taking
doubling
over.
the HeroClix people. It wasn't like a release event or anything for HeroClix though, so that's a different story.
Mhm.
But anyway, so we headed down to our local store here in Canada Land. We have a new local store, right, Kim?
We do.
And it is called Game Time Collectibles in Mississauga, Ontario, because our old local store closed. And we're pretty excited though, because the owner here is excited about Dice Masters. He's excited about the relaunch, and he's excited about the game, and he is learning to play. I've been teaching him to play for the past few weeks, and he's picked it up really good. So he's getting other people in his store interested, and we had a couple of people come out that were just watching, and we had a couple of people that came out and actually played, and some more people are going to come out to the next event. So that was really cool.
And we had someone who's came out, watched, and bought 4 draft packs.
Yep. And they said they might come to the next event. So anyway, so before we get too deep into this, Kim, maybe we should explain to our listeners, for those who may not know, what is a Dice Masters draft in 2022.
Yes. What is a draft master drive?
Wow,
Sorry,
Kim.
I don't know what that was. I think I just finished eating a popsicle.
And your mouth is frozen?
Sour. Yeah, I don't know. And it was sour, so maybe I can't talk. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I can talk if you want.
What is a Dice Masters draft? There you go.
Okay, so first off, when you buy Dice Masters these days, it comes in draft packs. There are 8 draft packs to a display, and we're not going to talk about the distribution because Superman Kryptonite Crisis is a little odd in that way. However, a draft pack includes 3 basic action cards, a card with keywords and reminder text on it, and 12 character or action cards, as well as 24 dice, 2 per card, 2 per character or action. Right, Kim?
Right.
Okay. So you open up your draft pack. Pardon?
And a Ziploc bag.
In a Ziploc bag, in a cardboard box, which Superman Kryptonite Crisis has stickers on it for some reason, because they must have forgotten to print something on the boxes or something like that. So anyway, let's just get super specific. That's my fault. I started it. So you open up your draft pack and you make sure that the cards in your pack match the dice in your bag, and then you start your draft. So the idea with a draft is that you're going to keep 1 basic action and 1 character card. You're going to draft the others. You're going to select them and build your team out of the cards that you pick. So the way we draft today is we start with our basic actions. We each pick 1 basic action, and then we hand them to our left, is how we did it today. So they get to pick a second one, and then the third one just gets handed to you. You have 3 basic actions now to build with your team. Then you're going to take your characters and characters and non-basic action cards, and you're going to pick one of those and pass it to the right, and those are going to go around and around in a circle until you have 12 cards in your hand that are different than the 12 cards you started with. So there's a couple of different draft techniques, Kim. So what were you drafting for today?
Since I already had opened 2 display boxes, I was drafting for collection, pretty much.
Yeah. So what does drafting for collection mean?
Oh, so cards that I did not receive in my first 2 boxes, I had a list of what I needed. So I was just drafting based on that. So I would look through, start with usually super rares, then I go to rares. and then the two other non-common and common. So that's what I was looking for first. And then if I filled all that, I just picked a random card.
Nice.
Sounded
And
fun.
were you able to fill some of your holes today, Kim?
I filled 3,
Nice.
so not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
So when you get your pack, the cards are generally packed so that the super rares are at the back, if there are any. Then you have rares, then you have uncommons, then you have commons at the front. And they're sort of like alphabetical by type. So all your commons are in alphabetical order, your uncommons are in alphabetical order, and your super rares and rares are in alphabetical order. So I was drafting for a team because I have lots of Superman and Kryptonite Crisis that I haven't opened yet. So I don't know what holes I have. So I just was drafting to build a team. So I pulled a pack that had a couple rares in it. So I picked one of the rares and then passed the rest. And then I focused on, what would be good for my team. The one super fun thing about draft is that your max dice limits per card are completely ignored. So if a card has max 1 and you have 6 dice for that character because you drafted 3 cards, because you get 2 dice per character, then you get 6 dice on that card. So I went after Hawkman as one of my planned win conditions, and I managed to get 6 dice for him. He is the one that is the rare. Hawkman can't be blocked by character dice with a purchase cost of 3 or less. He also has a global ability. Pay a fist when you attack. Your character dice can't be the target of action dice or global abilities until the end of turn. And he's a 3-cost bolt with Justice League affiliation. He's a 0/2/2, 1/3/3, and 1/3/4. I guess we should say we were drafting Superman Kryptonite Crisis. I don't know if we said that.
I'm sure people picked that up, right?
I hope so. So yeah, Hawkman, Endless Flight.
I had it in my pack. I already owned it. Passed it to you because you were to my right. The other one I got, Hawkman was there again, the rare, and I passed it right back to you.
Yeah, and I picked both of them, so I now have 2 rare Hawkmans, plus the one that's already in my binder because I've already opened one. My 2 rares when I opened my pack were Brainiac 5 was a rare, and Lex Luthor was the rare. So those were the 2 rares that I pulled. So I kept the Brainiac 5 Coolin Prodigy, which says, while Brainiac 5 is active, your active character dice gain range 1 if they didn't already have range. And he also has Energize, gain 1 life. He's a 5-cost mask. So he's a pretty cool card. And then I passed the Lex Luthor, and therefore we went around and around. So I ended up with 2 rares and a bunch of commons on my team. And I had some fun times with this team that I built, which we'll talk about in a minute.
And our new person that never played Dice Masters before, do you know how he drafted? Did he just draft based on abilities, or did he actually draft?
He was drafting for some rarity and some abilities, I think. So he had actually, I chatted with him because I played him in second round, and he had watched a Learn to Play video, and it was actually by our friend DM Armada. So nice. He watched DM Armada's Learn to Play video, and then him and Rob had a chat about, I think Rob helped him build his team, and he played Rob in the first round. And he was really good. He plays a lot of other games, which I think if you play a lot of games, particularly collectible card games, it's easier in some ways to pick up the game of Dice Masters. He was playing really well even by the second round, so he picked it up.
I got creamed by him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was playing with I think it was a rare. Was it Rare Zod? No, not Zod.
No,
Doomsday.
Doomsday. Yeah. The Overcrush Doomsday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what rarity it is.
Yeah, it was the rare one. Yeah, so Doomsday trapped in Oz's jail, 4-cost bolt with a villain affiliation. He had Overcrush, and while he's active, opposing shield character dice get +2 defense. And it has the bolt global, target character die must attack this turn. So he actually did pretty well. He built a team around Doomsday. He had Supergirl, which had a spin-up global, so you could get him up to his level 3, which is a 2/7/7. And he was just attacking and overcrushing, which is a pretty good strategy for a new player. So So it was a lot of fun. So it was great to have a new player out. It was great to have the store owner Will play with us. So we had a total of 6, as mentioned previously, and we drafted and made some teams and played 3 rounds of games.
I know, real life. Wow.
I
I
know,
almost
it
forgot
was
how to like
so
play in real
weird.
life for some reason.
It's different, isn't it? It's different than
It
playing
is
online.
different. Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
okay, I've been talking a lot, Kim. So why don't you tell me about your team? What
All
did
right.
you do with
So
the stuff that you drafted? Because I think we've covered how you draft. You pick your
yes.
things, and then you make your team, and then you play your games.
Yeah. So I kind of, after like looking through and not realizing, or if I didn't get what I needed to fill my holes, I kind of decided once I got Lex Luthor, which is the uncommon 3-cost shield, has range 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he attacks, your opponent gains a life. I decided maybe I should start doing a bit of some range stuff. And he was the only Lex that I saw come around. I guess you had the rare, so that didn't make it to me.
No, the rare went to Will.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a range. And then I was lucky enough to get Bat Signal, which is also the uncommon 3-cost shield, and up to 3 of my character dice gain range. And if I landed on the double burst, all my character dice gain range 1. So I was like, okay, this is I'm gonna try to do that. So try to roll these as sidekicks or buy things and pretty much range them. Hopefully
Cool.
clearing the field and doing that. I also
Sounds
had
like a
the
good
Hawk
strategy.
Girl. Yeah, how the Hawk Girl, which was a good ad because she's the uncommon 3-cost mask. When she gets plus A for each opposing character die in the field zone.
Nice.
And you want to know what the best part is? I just read that wrong because I thought it. Sorry, opposing. Yeah, okay, I didn't read it wrong. Each opposing character dice in the field zone. So she would get buffed based on how many characters your opponent had in their field zone.
Cool.
Which is great because she got up to like 6, 7. She never got past 7 because they didn't really give me a big field.
Mm-hmm.
but it was pretty good though. Like if I ended up clearing the board, that's good damage going through.
Nice.
Everything else was kind of just a fill. I never bought them. Anti-monitor, common, when he attacks, he KOs. You KO a dice. The opponent has to KO the same amount. Never bought that one. Mary Shazam, the rare. 5 costs bolt. When fielded, she deals 3 damage to target character die. And the next Shazam die you purchase costs 3 less. I did not have Shazam on my team. But I put her in there just because
I had a card
of
like that.
when fielded, deal 3 damage. That's good enough, right? If anything. And then Monsieur Mala, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Monsieur Mala.
Yeah, the common one. If you have a mask in your reserve, he gets plus 2A. So those 3 were just on the team, but I actually never purchased them. I didn't bother. And I got lucky with the Joker common. When fielded, each player loses a life. 3-cost shield, but actually I was going for more of his global, which is reprint of Villainous Pact. Mm-hmm. Pay a mask once per turn during your turn. If you have no dice in your prep area, you may draw a die and place it in your prep area.
And so also Magneto global.
Yes, so he was there for mostly just the prep. And the last card I had was Harley Quinn, the uncommon 2-cost mask. When KO'd, you may roll a character die from your use pile. For each energy showing on that die, deal 1 damage to your target character die. If that die shows a character face, reroll target opposing character die. She worked once.
Cool.
So
that's pretty good in draft, Kim. Like you didn't really have a way to KO your people and stuff, right?
It was interesting because it almost like if you were ready to use her kind of to get rid of some of the big guys, which I got a lot of big guys like Superman, Supergirl, like those stats are huge. Jonathan Kent, like those are really big, and they were annoying. So it was a good way, but you really had to time that. Like you had to have a character sitting in your used when she gets KO'd to roll it and see what happens. So it was interesting. She was interesting.
Yeah, it's more than just managing your bag at that point. You're also managing your use pile with
Yes.
limited resources in draft, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
in a constructed team, you could very easily just throw any variety of Dark Phoenix on your team, which has the global pay a bolt and once per turn KO target character die you
Yep.
control, and then you can create chaos. But in draft, you have to be more strategic about how that works.
Yeah. I mean, it was easy to get her KO'd with those big guys, but not, I would say maybe 70% of the time, I did not have a character in my use pile. I had
And
a,
also
I
the
had a bad
timing
signal,
window.
but yeah. But yeah, because I had a
Right.
question for you about the timing window, and then we kind of worked that out. But it was, she's interesting. I would definitely give her another try. I think it's a very interesting card.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
And
how did
then
your
what do I
games
have?
go?
Basic
What was your
actions.
record? Sorry?
One in my basic actions.
Mm-hmm.
I had call to action. Target non-sidekick character die gets +3A, which would have probably worked with buffing maybe like Hawkgirl or Lex. But I never bought it. In bold last stand, target character die with 1A or less gets +2A and +2D. If it doesn't attack this turn, KO it.
Cool.
So I guess I could have used that on Harley.
You could have, because she's got
Yeah.
low stats, right?
Yeah. Character die with 1A or less.
Oh, I don't think she
No,
has a
she
1A
doesn't
or
have
less.
1A. No, she
She's got a
doesn't. No. So
2.
it's mostly
Yeah.
like sidekicks, right?
Yeah.
And I had a global.
There's a Poison Ivy that has a 1 attack, or a Lois Lane, or Jimmy Olsen, I think, has a 1 attack side.
Yeah. Well, I guess mostly
So.
your sidekicks would get buffed. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I went 1 and 2. So not bad. I mean, range was okay. It worked a few times, but the gaining life from Lex kind of almost backfired because you're attacking all the time and then they're gaining life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a, oh, okay. But yeah,
A little
it was fun though.
counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, as I mentioned, I decided to build my team around that Hawkman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, initially I was going to build it around Brainiac 5, which grants your dice range.
Okay.
And then I had the Hawkman as well, and I managed to get a whole bunch of dice for him because we only had one Brainiac 5 in the entire draft. So I only had 2 dice for Brainiac 5. The rest of my team was filled out with the 1 cost Harley Quinn. She's blank. It was not the full art. It was just the regular common. But she's a 1 cost mask. And I threw her on for 2 dice because I had the Barry Allen global. Barry Allen the Flash. He's the common. He's also blank except for his global. Once per turn, pay a fist. If you purchased a die and fielded a character this turn, prep a die from your bag. So I figured if I had a mask and a fist and a character to field, then I could use that prep global, right? So at least twice, because I had 2 dice on Harley Quinn. I had Shazam, the Power of Hope, the common. When fielded, roll the dice you spent to field Shazam. Prep any of those dice showing energy faces. That was super cool when I bought Shazam. He's a 5 cost mask with Mystics and Justice League affiliations, and he's a 1-2-3 fielding cost. So every time I had to field him, I was lucky enough to have sidekicks on energy. And every time I fielded him except one, all of those sidekicks rolled energy, so I could prep them for the next turn. So that was a really cool mechanic. One time I paid 2 to field him with sidekicks, and they both rolled sidekicks, which was hilarious. So they had to go to my out of play. But that was kind of a neat mechanic, especially in draft, because I think like ramp and churn is a little bit challenging in this draft format. There are a couple of globals, like you mentioned the Joker global. I had the Barry Allen global. I played against someone who had the Starfire global, which is pay a shield. If you've purchased a die this turn, you can prep a die from your bag. Yeah. So there's some, but it's limited. So, but the Shazam was pretty cool because I spent those dice and then I got them right back away again. Similar to you, I had a die that was basically useless. I had Lois Lane Army Brat. While Lois Lane is active, your Superman dice get +1A and +1D. Spoiler alert, I had no Superman. So she was just on there to fill out the team. I had a lot of fun with the common Poison Ivy Power Over Men. She's a 2-cost mask with the Legion of Doom affiliation, and she has Energize, field a 0A and 2D plant token. When Poison Ivy would be KO'd, you may instead KO a plant token and heal all damage from Poison Ivy. So that was really cool. I was fielding all kinds of plant tokens.
Oh, really? You
And
energize a lot?
yeah, I energized a lot. I had 4 dice on that card. She was a 2-cost mask. So I just kept buying her and energizing her and then spending her masks and over and over and over again. It was a lot of fun. And if she rolled on a character phase, she's a 0/0/1 to field. So I just fielded her and then I might attack with her or whatever the case may be. She was a good blocker. I also played against the new player who was playing with that Overcrush with the Doomsday. So his attack was a 7. So having Poison Ivy on her 6 defense was helpful against that Overcrush. So yeah, and then I had Parasite Joshua Allen, 2-cost Bolt Legion of Doom. While your opponent has a shield character die in their field zone, Parasite gets +2 attack. None of my opponents were playing shield dice when I had Parasite being played, and I really just bought him because he was a 2-cost. So that was my team. My team was generally built around buying cheap Harlequins and fielding them because they have really good stats, fielding as many sidekicks as I could roll, fielding plant tokens and Poison Ivies, and the other piece was if I could get Brainiac out, my plant tokens would gain range.
Mm-hmm.
So they were 0 attack, 2 defense with range 1. So it's kind of
and
silly.
You don't have to attack just anything with the range.
No, as long as something attacks, then all the range damage would go off, because range happens at the beginning of your attack step. So when you declare attackers, all of your active character dice with range deal damage to your opponent. I didn't actually use the range ever. I only bought Brainiac 5 once, and I just felt it was too strong for the game I was playing with a player who was newer, and I wanted to see them make their team go off, so I didn't actually make the range go. But I could have, and it was cool. It would have been fun. And if I was playing you, Kim, I would have done it.
Hey, I bought range against the new person, and I still couldn't KO any of the stuff when they're on 8/8 and 7/7.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was the team. Now for basic actions, I played investigative journalism and mind control. So I never bought any mind controls throughout the whole time, I don't think. It says at the start of your attack step, gain control of target opposing character die with a level lower than one of your character dice. It must attack if able. On a double burst phase, you may instead take control of character die on any level. That was cool. In my last game, my opponent bought all 3 of those.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, and then kept trying to pull my stuff out and attack with it. So it worked to a degree. But what I really like is investigative journalism. I love this basic action. Yes, it's a 5-cost.
Yeah,
I get it.
Pricey.
But you get to draw 4 dice. You roll up to 3 of them and prep the remainder. So up to 3 means you could choose to prep. You could roll 0.
Yeah.
You could prep all 4 of them if you wanted. So depending on what I drew, depended on how many I rolled. And it was helping me definitely churn through my bag. So yes, the 5 is an investment, especially in a draft format where you don't have any way to get the basic action cheaper. But I mean, all it took was a prepped die and 4 other sidekicks. So once you got that going, you were, I was rolling it at least every second turn. I was rolling so many dice.
You can't prep all 4. You can only prep up. Wait, you can only roll up to 3.
Yeah, you can't roll all 4. But you could prep all 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the time I was prepping at least 3 of them, if not 4. Depending on what it was.
Depending on what you got, yeah.
Yeah, depending on what I pulled. And that really churned through your bag, and you're prepping dice. And like I said, I was getting it like every second turn at that point. Because I wasn't playing for like super far winning. I was just playing with different team pieces and trying different things out. And, wouldn't this be fun if? So I never bought any lowest lanes. But I bought everything else on my team at least once. And I had a really good time. So I went 2-1. So that was my event, and it was really great to see people in person. It was really great to play Dice Masters in person. I think I've talked on the podcast before that I've been playing some HeroClix in person, but there hasn't been a lot of Dice Masters. We wanted to do a draft of Dark Phoenix, but we had limited product available, so we weren't able to do that. Although I think we do have a display available to us to draft now, right, Kim?
Mm-hmm. We do.
So we'll be able to do that. And there's more Superman, so we'll do more drafts with Superman, and looking forward to Secret Wars when it comes out later this year. The store owner is super excited about Dice Masters, as I mentioned before, and really wants to drive this and create some interest. So it's really exciting to see new people coming in, interested in the game and wanting to play. So as you mentioned before, Kim, we had a couple of spectators, and before they left, they bought 4 draft packs and opened them up, and they pulled 2 super rares. Right? It was
Wally
Superman
West and
and
yeah.
Wally West. Yeah. And he was pretty happy with his little shiny cards and his dice, and he wants to learn how to play. Yeah, he's a young fella.
Yeah.
So just a kid.
I'm gonna guess a 7 or 8, maybe.
Something like that, yeah. And him and his dad had come into the store, and they actually came into the store a couple weeks ago when I was there teaching the store owner how to play, and they hung out and watched. So they're interested and want to give it a shot. So looking forward to seeing them come out and play some Dice Masters and learn to play. We've got our new player who came out tonight. We've got, like we said, some folks that used to play and came back out. So it looks like a bit of a scene is reviving here just west of Toronto. And we're looking forward to seeing more people come out and draft with us soon and or play constructed events.
Person won, right?
Yes. Yep. Our new player.
Games?
Yep. Went 3-0. So congrats to him. And looking forward to seeing him come out again next time. Can't wait for Origin packs, Kim.
I know.
Right? It'll be a real boon to helping people get into this game, because right now accessing sidekicks and basic action dice is kind of hard. So I have a small supply of sidekicks and basic action dice that I have not dyed with you know,
colors?
Making them pretty colors and things like that. So I have a small supply of I guess tournament legal dice.
Yeah.
But that is drying up as we get more players. So if anyone local has extra sidekicks and actions and is willing to help out new players getting sorted, then we would love to accept those donations.
Yep. Cool.
Like you, Kim.
I do have. I think I have also. I got rid of a bunch to some new people that I mailed out, but I think I still have some sidekicks and basic action dice for sure from like the
boxes. I think I have like 3 or 4 sets of basic sidekicks and actions that I can give out to people, but after that I'm tapped out. So unless I start giving out the non-tournament legal ones, so and then we'll go from there. But
no, I'm sure between everybody we have enough. So
yeah, and then Origin packs are coming later, and
yeah,
and we'll get it all
sorted out. Pink and yellow will be tournament legal. So there you go.
Can't wait. So yeah, so that was our draft. There were a couple of super rares pulled in the draft.
Yes.
There was a super rare
display.
Yeah, so there was a super rare Starfire.
Yep.
And a super rare Mary Shazam.
Yep.
And a super rare Wonder Woman.
Yep.
The Wonder Woman was not pulled in the draft. It was pulled after.
Yes, it was 2 boxes left in the display, and Kim bought it. And well, and we'll just leave it there. So, but yeah, there was only 3. No fatback. Because usually you would get 3 and a fatback, but we only got 3 super rares in that display box.
Well, I mean, the store owner opened a couple of boxes when I first went to pick up my product, and one of his boxes only had 2 super rares in it and no fatback. And for those who don't know what a fatback is, it's a full art textless basic action card. They're nice and shiny and pretty. They're kind of like chase cards. They're harder to find. So yeah, distribution in this set is a little bit odd. There is like we had that one in those 6 displays that we opened as part of the draft. We had duplicate rares.
Yeah.
Which is uncommon typically in past distributions, but you know, it definitely encourages trading, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Unless that's what they were going for.
I mean, that puts a lot of faith in WizKid's ability to randomize or not randomize sets. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It's
Yep.
what it is.
It is.
We had a great time. And if you are out in the Toronto area at any point in the future, make sure you check the Win for the events because we're putting them all in the Win. And there's also a Facebook group called Toronto Dice Masters Club, and we put all the events in there as well. So you can sign up.
Cool. Yeah.
I think that's it for the draft.
Yeah. I don't think we missed anything, but cool. Now we have a lot of events coming up.
Yeah, do we want to do events or do you want to do dice bag?
We can do the events. Let's just go in order.
In order of the sheet.
We're pretty chill today, aren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go. We'll do events.
Maybe before we jump into that,
yep.
Let's just say that we'll drop the team links for our teams in the show notes for what Kim and I played today.
Yes.
Okay. And Kim, events.
Yeah. Breath Weapon X Fest 4. Yes, Breath Weapon X Fest 4. Madness of Infinite Earths is happening on this Saturday. So a podcast releases on a Monday, the 25th. The tournament is on Saturday, July 30th. So it is this Saturday. So if you haven't signed up and you do want to play, it's starting at 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's all online. So you need pretty much most of your day to play this because everything happens on the same day. The whole tournament's on a day. And it's a very interesting format where you pick one character across all the sets. And that's what you make your team out of pretty much. So you're going to have the same character on... We're breaking rules in this, but you're going to have the same character on your team. And just as long as the dice are obviously different for each set that you use for your character, it's fine. Because I know a lot of them
they have to be distinguishable, right?
Yeah, they look similar, but they are different. So you really have to look at it. But yeah, so it should be fun. You can go to breathweaponx.wordpress.com for all the details on that, and also it'll be in the show notes as well.
Cool.
So I will be playing in that, and I did not test my team, and yeah, we're just gonna have some fun on Saturday.
I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic, Kim.
Yep.
It's going to be perfect.
She knows what character I'm playing.
And now you do too.
If anybody picks it up. It's not that hard. I'll let Jocelyn talk about 3 of the others, but another tournament that's happening next month on August. Actually, no, let's just go in order of dates. You can do the next one.
So if you are in the UK this coming weekend, you can head over to Manchester to hang out with Chris, and I don't know if Andy's coming there, but I'm assuming maybe. But Chris will be there at Fanboy 3 in Manchester, where they are holding a UK rotation launch party with a Hellfire Gala OP kit up for grabs as part of the prize pool. And that is this coming Sunday, July 31st. So for all the details on that, I'm assuming you would look at the Fanboy 3 website and or just send a message to Chris Williams through Facebook or Discord. And I'm sure he could get you hooked up because there's going to be a constructed event to welcome back Dice Masters. So that's exciting. So if you're in the UK, if you're in the Manchester area on Sunday, head over there. And then I guess I keep going, Kim?
You keep going because you're going to be at this one.
Yes, I will. So the next event after July 31st will be Gen Con. It is the 55th Gen Con, if you did not know what that is.
Wow.
And Gen Con is the second largest board game convention in the world. So it's not just tabletop gaming like Dice Masters and HeroClix. It is everything you can think of and then some. There's an exhibitor hall, there's cosplay, there's tournament events, there's all kinds of things happening. So however, WizKids will be at Gen Con. They are running US Nationals for HeroClix. It's an abbreviated version of US Nationals for HeroClix. They are running modern constructed events for Dice Masters. They're running drafts for Dice Masters, which from what I understand will likely be Superman Kryptonite Crisis. And all of that is happening all 4 days of Gen Con. So if you have not signed up for Gen Con and you are going to be in the Indianapolis area, now is a good time to do that. There's drafts, there's constructed. I think I said all that stuff. There's all kinds of things you can do there. And I'm going to be going for the first time, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I will be reporting from there and giving you guys an update on how that went after the event.
Now, is it Dice Masters on all 4 days? Or
there's Dice Masters on all 4 days, yep.
All 4 days.
So they're running at least 3 drafts per day.
Wow.
They might run more. I'm not exactly sure. So like with Gen Con, you purchase tickets in advance and then you purchase your events. So they're running a 1 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, and a 3 o'clock draft on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a modern constructed event each morning, I want to say starting at 11. And our friend of the podcast and friend in IRL, Nick, aka Jackalope Spam, is the judge for Dice Masters this coming event. So he'll be there, as will a bunch of other Dice Masters players playing in drafts, playing in constructed events. I would imagine that if there's enough players and there's enough product, that they will fire off drafts more often in addition to the ones that are previously scheduled and paid for. So I would imagine that's probably possible. I don't know enough about Gen Con except to know that I'm going to be super overwhelmed when I get there because it's massive. But there are things called generic tickets that you can buy, and you can just hand in generics for events if you're not signed up in their space. So I would imagine that they will be doing that for Dice Masters as well. However, I have no official confirmation of that. But yeah, Dice Masters all 4 days. There's HeroClix all 4 days. There's everything. Everything under the sun. Things I've never heard of. Things I have heard of. Who knows? All the things. So Indianapolis, Indiana, August 4th to 7th. If you're there, swing by the WizKids booth and swing by the WizKids gaming area, and you'll probably see me, and I'll wave. And I'll say, hi, come say hi to me.
You said it's the second largest, right? Do you know
Yes.
what the first one is?
It's something in Europe.
Hmm.
I don't remember. I looked it up. But I don't remember what it is right now, and I don't want to fumble around on the internet.
Got it. Okay. So it's not actually in North America. It's in
Nope, the largest one is in Europe somewhere.
Ah, cool.
So, yeah. So I'll turn it back to you, Kim, to talk about the next one.
Yeah. So Dice Fight XL3 is happening on, I believe this is a Saturday, August 27th. This one's going to be also a 1-day tournament event, and it's modern. So by the time rotation happens, which is effective the 29th of July, right? 29th?
That's correct.
Yeah. Yes, 29th. And so rotation happens this week. Everything's happening this week. And so their tournament is modern. So modern, and just in case you have missed it or did not listen to our episode, go listen to it. Now you know when rotation is going to happen and what's rotating. It's only the 3 sets. So Infinity, Dark Phoenix, Superman, all the op kits and promos that are associated with those are all going to be the new modern.
That's right.
So,
Infinity Gauntlet, to be specific.
Yeah. Oh, no, I just say Infinity.
Yeah, but I mean, there is the Avengers Infinity campaign box, so just to be specific.
That's true. So that is their event. It's modern, new modern, and there's no bans. So we'll get to see what people will be playing for, like, top cards or what we might see. So that would be interesting.
Yeah. And could be a good preview for the last event on our list that we want to talk about, which is Dice Masters World, happening in Memphis, Tennessee, September 15th to 18th. That's 4 whole days of a WizKids exclusive event being held at the Graceland Convention Center. So if you are headed down to Memphis for that event, it will be starting at 2 p.m. Thursday and running through 2 p.m. Sunday. So WizKids has been getting information out about this event. So in addition to the dates, we now know the events start at those times and end at those times, as I mentioned. They said every night except Sunday in the announcement that the gaming will run until 10 p.m. at the convention center. The event listing and times and all of that sort of stuff, details, those haven't been released yet. What they have released is the room block. So you can actually go and call the Graceland hotel called the Guest House at Graceland, and you can reserve your room in the room block. It's a maximum of 4 people to a room, and the rate is pretty hot, $152 US per night. And the room block is open from the Wednesday night until the Sunday night. So checking in Wednesday, checking out Monday. So any variation of those nights, you can book yourself in there while supplies last, I guess, of the room block. So this will be a event for HeroClix and for Dice Masters. Those are the 2 events. There is no admission charge to attend the event. You just have to be in Memphis, and then from there, there will be small fees for things like drafts and probably entries into the larger events. So we know that they're holding HeroClix Worlds. The initial announcement mentioned U.S. Nationals as well as U.S. Worlds. However, subsequent U.S. Worlds. That doesn't make sense. U.S. Nationals and Worlds for Dice Masters. The subsequent announcements have not mentioned U.S. Nationals, so I'm not sure if they're still going to hold both of those events or if they're just holding a Worlds event. We're not sure how the qualifications work yet. If it's going to be open like it was in 2019 for Dice Masters, where you just walk up and pay your fee and you can play in Worlds, or if you need to qualify in some way. We know there will be side events, there will be drafts, there will be all kinds of fun things. And if you stay at the Guest House at Graceland, I highly recommend the peanut butter and jelly sandwich bar that is available at 10 p.m. in the hotel. Because if you didn't know, Elvis was a big peanut butter and jelly sandwich guy. So peanut butter and banana? I can't remember. Anyway, it's quite the to-do to go out there and get your sandwich if you're staying at the Guest House in Graceland. So yeah, it's a cool place. It was really fun in 2019. I expect it to be just as fun in 2022. And information is available on the WizKids World's website and is being updated as it becomes available. So hopefully you can make it.
Question for you.
Yes.
Playing HeroClix?
Where? At Gen Con?
Are you going to be playing in here? No, at Memphis.
If I get to Memphis, then I will probably play some HeroClix, yes.
Yep.
I will also be playing some HeroClix at Gen Con, as well as Dice Masters.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have a couple of HeroClix events, a couple of Dice Masters events, some non-WizKids related gaming events. I have a Wingspan event. So if you have ever played Wingspan, that's a game that I quite enjoy, and there's a Wingspan event that I'm going to be going to, and there's a Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is a role-playing game that I'll be attending as well. And of course, at Gen Con, there is the WizKids Fan Appreciation event on the Friday night, which is free to attend, and you will find me in all of those places at Gen Con. And then at Worlds, I mean, if I get down there for Worlds, I'm hoping to. I'm waiting to see the state of the world before I sort all that out, and maybe seeing how Gen Con goes, traveling into the U.S. Haven't crossed the border since pre-pandemic. So, we'll see what the event listing looks like, and it would be cool to play some HeroClix. However, if I get to Worlds, I do not expect to be playing world class level HeroClix. So, it's I'm not quite to that level yet.
Okay.
So.
Cool. That is long events. Lots of events.
It's a lot of events. There's a lot of stuff going on, and most of that is in person, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to see in-person events returning.
Yeah.
What about you, Kim? Are you going to play any HeroClix?
Probably not.
Have you retired?
But I know someone who loves HeroClix now that would probably jump on that opportunity. Wink, wink, man.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
I believe he refers to it as a board game expansion, and he's not quite sure how it works yet.
Yeah, okay.
So, but I would be happy to teach our fellow dmNorther, Matt, more about HeroClix if he so desires. So, even if he wants to call it a board game expansion. Whatever makes him happy.
Yeah.
I don't judge. Okay, so we've talked about drafting, we've talked about Worlds and all the other events that are going on. I guess it's time to dive into the dice bag to round out the episode.
Yes. A big one, too.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty deep episode thing here by Dice Bag. I can't talk anymore.
See,
So
you had a popsicle.
let's. I did not have a popsicle. I'm just tired. All right, so let's jump into some feedback. So we heard from Craig. Craig commented on our episode post at dm-north.com, and he said it was really so nice to see the modern rotation as announced. It is great that we have a game style that involves everything but 5 cards from the beginning. So there's 5 cards that are banned in sort of like the golden format. And then we have a style that gives players the chance to focus on the most recent set. Those are 2 great ways to play. I fully agree with everything that you said there, Craig. So thank you for commenting. Really appreciate that. And I just, I get overwhelmed with the full amount of cards that are out there. And I like having a smaller modern rotation. So as of July 29th, it's official. We just have the 3 sets as mentioned. So you can go back and listen to our rotation special if you want to learn more about that. We heard from KK Simons. He this one you kind of have to join our Discord to get, so I'll mention it. But if you have not joined the dmNorthTV Discord yet, I would encourage you to do that, and Kim will put that in the show notes as well, so that you can join us there. KK Simons posted a meme. It includes Toby Maguire and a bunch of pizzas, and it says "Pizza Time," and he says "Getting ready for the new meta." So, in episode 64. we chatted with Matt and Laurier, and Laurier was talking about getting his list updated for the essentials list. He maintains the essentials list on dm-north.com, and he said that pizza is being considered. Pizza is a basic action card. Do you have it up, Kim, to say what it does?
I can. Yes, 2 seconds.
Okay.
1,
So pizza
2.
is a basic action card from the Infinity Gauntlet set. And he was saying because it's a 1 cost and there's very few 1 costs left in the new rotation, that he's considering that maybe it is something that should be on the essentials list. So what does it say, Kim?
Pizza. 1 cost, as Jocelyn said. Gain 1 life. You may not use this basic action die if you have 15 or more life. It also has a global, which you pay a shield once during your turn. If you have less than 10 life, gain a life.
That's right. So it was great to hear that KK Simons listened to our episode and is fully supportive of Pizza Time. So because I think after we said that, we said, you heard it here first, pizza's the new meta. And then we all laughed for like 5 minutes. So I'm not sold on pizza being the new meta, but it is a 1 cost, and 1 cost can be useful. So who knows? We heard from... Sorry?
We could put KK on a challenge there. Build a team with pizza and see if he can make it meta.
There you go. Okay, we heard from everyone's fave hero Donnie on
the YouTube.
That's right. You were like delayed there, Kim. You're usually right on top of that. So everyone's fave hero Donnie said he was surprised that they were cut the way they did. And he's talking about the rotation. I think it's the rotation.
Yeah. That was the rotation.
That it went so deep. I figured, like Jordo, that there was going to be a D&D set in as well forever, because the D&D set, the only D&D set, was rotated out. He's also surprised they cut the collection boxes of Justice and X-Men Forever, because, again, they had good synergies with the new sets that just came out, Dark Phoenix and Superman Kryptonite Crisis. He continues, I'm excited to see the new Wonder Woman in action. I was able to trade for it. This is the super rare Wonder Woman that we're talking about. And maybe, Kim, you can pull that one up for us.
Yeah, look, I'm actually going to read it from the card itself. Ready? When fielded, spin target character die to an energy face you may deal 2 damage to target character die. While Wonder Woman is active, ignore opposing when fielded 1 attack abilities. She also has a global. Pay a mask, change the target of an action die that targets a character die to the character die of your choice. Gosh, that's a mouthful of a global.
Yeah, it's a lot of text on that card. I believe it's a 6 cost, Kim?
It's 6 cost mask. Yep.
Super rare, and definitely it's a pretty strong card. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the meta, if it's going to shut down when attacks and when fielded effects, like the way it refers to it. He continues that his local group loves pizza, and that he's the same way as me when it comes to team building. He doesn't realize how good or bad stuff is until you've played it. He finishes that up with a RIP Super Rare Starro, because Super Rare Starro, which was spoiled by the dmNorthTV team back in November, December, did not make it into the Superman Kryptonite Crisis set. So unfortunately, we won't see that card right now. I mean, you never say never.
It's true. Kit.
Here's hoping. Promo, prize, something. All right, so then we finally heard, to end off our dice bag, we heard from the aforementioned Jackalope Spam Nick about the meta as well. So he thinks that we've gone from a very varied meta to a bit more narrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to agree to disagree here.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there was a few win conditions that had risen to the top in the previous meta, namely Becky Lynch, aka Not Just for the Global. Becky Lynch made in Ireland. There was the Godcatcher famous walking statue and the Thor Jorgemon sphere. And the only one of those that is still in Modern as of July 29th is Thor Jorgemon sphere. And Thor has been placed on a watch list, as has Master Mold Endless Sentinels, which are 2 super rares that are pretty strong, but they're both 6 costs.
Yep.
Nick continues, we did see a lot of win cons in the recent 2-team takedown, but we also had a heck of a lot more cards. As mentioned, this aggressive Thanos snap left us with less than half, so fundamentally we've got fewer win cons to focus on. I think time will tell how balanced they are against each other and which might rise to the top. I think that's fair. What do you think, Kim?
Yeah, I mean, this is what makes it good, because you get to actually find out without like just knowing. You actually get to build teams and be like, wow, that card actually does really well, but no one would ever notice it. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of stuff will rise to the top.
Yeah.
Just people just have to really build to it.
Yeah, I think it's not just about the win cons though. It's also about the support pieces, which Nick alludes to in the rest of his comment. He says, I think there are still an obvious big 3 again in Thor, Master Mold, and Barry Allen. Kim, that's your cue.
Oh.
So if you can pull that up.
It is not Barty Allen.
No, there are no nicknames on this podcast.
No,
aside
he didn't
from
say
like
Barty.
Joss
I thought he
Stitch and
actually
Super
did
Gay.
it, but he actually said it properly.
He said Barry Allen.
Okay.
Do you have it up?
Yeah. So this is the Barry Allen, the rare belly. Oh my gosh. Barry Allen the rare 7-cost fist. When Barry Allen attacks, each attacking character die gets +1A and +1D for each of your other attacking character dice. And he also has a global, once per turn, pay fist. If you purchase a die and feel that a die this turn, prep a die from your bag.
Yeah.
But it's mostly his ability that everybody's
Yeah. So so it's a strong ability, but it's 7 cost, and Thor and Master Mold are 6 costs. So he continues, they cost a lot to get to, so you'll need to crack that code and get them going. We can't get them in the field by turn 3 anymore, which is the next point. That gives you time to do something else. In those turns, while my opponent ramps up to one of the big 3, I could purchase a Drax or a Typhoid Mary and a cheaper win con. A Drax prevents you from purchasing or fielding a die when you field it, you can name that, and Typhoid Mary ignores the text of a die when you field, you name that. So if I get my Drax out by turn 3, which is very possible, I can stop you from buying that big card you've been building in their first few turns. Now they need to find a way to balance removing my Drax while still saving up for a big purchase. Essentially, there's time to do something before those big cards hit the field. I agree with that. I think that with the new Modern rotation, there are a few things that are going to rise to the top. And the first one in my mind is going to be combat damage strategies, because there are not a lot of ways to prevent combat damage in the new version of Modern. There's no global to push back an attacking character die like Static Field did.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of Overcrush protection as far as I'm aware. I think most of the Overcrush protection has been rotated out. Like the Wolfguard Terminator that only took 1 damage, and there was something in the D&D set that did something similar.
Didn't Poison Ivy prevent damage to herself?
Yeah, the Poison Ivy did it. She she didn't take damage from villains.
And she was deadly.
Yeah. So a lot of that sort of things, a lot of the things that people were using to prevent overcrush or to ramp up to their big win conditions, like a lot of the ramp and churn has changed. So it's almost like an entirely new game in that all of the tried and true methods that players have been using for years, literally years because of the pandemic, and the fact that we haven't had a rotation since 2020, all of those tried and true conditions are gone, right? Everyone's got to start over. You've got to start fresh. You've got to do something different and new with how you're going to get to your big win conditions, your small win conditions, how you're going to churn your bag, how you're going to prep. All of these things have changed. So it's a whole new world, this whole new meta that we have here. And yeah, I think that yes, the card pool is smaller, but it will also encourage people to try different things.
Mm-hmm.
That is my
and that's what
TED
I
Talk.
think
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
That's what I'm looking forward to, is what people build other than those, right? Like what I want to see what else is going to win.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I guess we'll see a bit of that in Breath Weapon X Fest 3. And then, of course, there will be some modern events at Gen Con. And I'm sure that Nick will be collecting team lists and things like that to share it with the community. And if he's not planning to do that already, I strongly encourage him to do so. And then there'll be some sense of what happens when we get to Worlds. So go out there, build your teams. Let us know what you're playing with. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Let us know how you're ramping and churning in the new meta, how you're getting to all your pieces. Are you going to go for big stuff? Or are you going to go for smaller things and try and do it a different way? We'd love to hear from you about your thoughts there. Okay. That's the dice bag, Kim.
All right.
I have one last question for you.
All right.
Did you complete your Secret Wars assignment?
Oh, no.
You did?
I forgot. I completely forgot. Oh, my goodness.
I think you actually got a whole episode in the middle because weren't we supposed to talk about that last episode, but we had Matt Laurier come on instead? Or did I assign that to you in the last episode? I don't remember now.
No, you assigned it to me in the not last episode, the episode before, because that's when we were talking about Secret Wars for some reason. And yeah,
I think it was the dice bag. In the dice bag, we were talking about Secret Wars, and you accepted the assignment to read your Secret Wars trade.
Yes, I did.
It's overdue, Kim. I'm gonna have to dock you a mark.
Forgot. I actually remembered last week, and now I completely forgot. No, honestly, I completely forgot. So I have homework to do. I am going to. Well, I have some time, right? So until next episode, but
you do.
I do have lots of time. So yes, I need to remember to do that. I'm going to pull it right now.
Yeah, and you might get a little bit of extra time because we are planning episode 66 to be our Gen Con special. Yeah. And so you might get until episode 67, Kim, before you have to give the report on Secret Wars 2099. But don't forget, put a reminder in your phone.
I'm going to take the book, like literally right after this, and put it right in my face so I remember to read it.
All right. So, okay. So that is all we have for today, I think, Kim. So we want to thank you guys for continuing to listen and coming out and enjoying this podcast with us. Let us know how your drafts of Superman Kryptonite Crisis have gone if you've been able to participate in one. I have heard that supply has been a bit of a challenge in the US. So did you get your product? Were you able to draft? What cards worked for you in your draft? How are you how are you building your scenes and all that stuff, everything that we've talked about, we want to hear. But any and all of the above, as well as anything else you'd like to share with us. And you can let us know that in all of the following places. You can send us an email to tripledpodcast@dm-north.com. You can go to dm-north.com and leave a comment on our episode post. You can find us on all the socials, which include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at dmNorthTV. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/dmNorthTV. And you can also find us doing live things on Twitch at twitch.tv/dmNorthTV. So until next time, on a double on dice.